What? What is your name? Tony. Fuck you, Tony. What's your name? Ezekiel. Fuck you, Ezekiel. Fuck you.
Had to switch up on the flow, gotta keep them on their toes. I move quick, I make the most, why they copy what I wrote. Follow everything I post, never trip about a clone, cause they know what's a sheep to a goat. Yeah. Welcome to the main event. Applying pressure, but I promise they ain't make it then. In their heads, living free, I ain't paying rent. Wake up in the AM, making G's like Mercedes-Benz. Whoa, hey, please don't take offense. It isn't you, I'm just not interested in making friends. My biggest fear is finding out that this came and went. So go ahead, but I'm staying in.
I've been waiting for this. Oh boy, I've been waiting for this. What's up?
Motherfucker, I hate this motherfucker.
No, Sam, that's not how we do it. Let me show you how we take care of the creature. Let me show you how we take care of the creature. Go, Rita!
No, I'm in mid-story. Hold on. Let me finish my point, you jerk.
You don't call your dad a jerk.
Well, you're being a jerk.
The laws of physics do not exist on my charcoal grill.
But what's the weirdest thing you've ever killed and ate?
Siamese twins.
Siamese. What did you say? Siamese twins.
But my agent said I may need to get a lawyer after that comment.
Oh God, I just got what you were saying. That's not what I meant. Oh man, that is just off the wall bad. We just had one of our guests on, Jason Fry, talking about the Celtics are going to win their 19th championship. So what have you got to say about that?
Who this Jason Fry character is, he was talking about doing hard shit. Well, his prediction is bullshit. Okay. All right.
I have a feel we're about to be joined by Sir George. He normally comes out of the black hole. Oh, there he is. Sir George. He is back.
Play football. What's up?
Well, I just want to say, are...
Hey, Jerry. Hey, Jerry. I just saw Jerry joke. Hey, Jerry. You said, well, this ain't your number one. You're number one, Jerry. Number one.
Oh, my God. We're moving on. We've killed the Cowboys. Matter of fact, get out. I'm tired of talking to you. Give me freaking JJ. Bring JJ on the show. Holy crap. Let's hear his opinion about this damn trade and why they made this decision. I think you're trying to cover your own ass right now and just not admit you were wrong.
In the country.
I think you're just trying to cover your ass right now. And don't.
You know what? I got a big ass, so
that's a lot of
cover. A lot of cover. It take a blanket, damn it.
More like a drape.
Did you just pull a drape? Is that so I can open it up when I need to go?
Hey, you're getting too deep into this. Rivalries make sports great, but they got to be on the same level. And I'm sorry, Angel Reese ain't on the level of Caitlin Clark. Like, it's not Magic Bird.
If you don't want to commit to it, take your ass and be a PE all-star.
First off, you need to get your facts effing straight.
How do you like me now? What? You're the coach. Shut up, dude. All you haters, shut the hell up. Just shut the hell up. Whoa. I won 5 Super Bowls, damn it. How dare you call the Cowboys a shit team? Watch the Cowboys. It'll be fun, they said. Bloody fucking hell, it was no fun.
It was like riding a train around one of the Kardashians' asses, and you just disappear into this abyss of ass. Somehow he talked about buttholes that made me hungry for a PBJ sandwich. It's 35-7. And it's only 7 because you just scored. Shut up.
And they're playing with sticks. And they're playing with a little puck all the time.
Expert analysis right there. They play with sticks and pucks.
Trying to grow the game, man. global game.
These people, they don't give a damn.
Well, I don't really know, but it drives me nuts.
Mm.
You're almost going to laugh. I can see it. Almost fixing to lose it. It drives me nuts.
Oh, man.
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody!
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Your ass better call somebody because the self-proclaimed best in the game is back on the airwaves tonight. You come here for the most energetic. Well, I'm energetic. The old man is like a dead fish most of the time. Insightful and sometimes humorous takes on sports. And how we start our humor in sports is the old man tries to make the people laugh with his good old failed attempts at humor. But folks, I am Casey, the remix schedule. The bald and the beautiful below me is Eddie, the original schedule. Go ahead, hit the people with this terrible attempt at humor to make sure to let everyone know we're not trying to make it in comedy. And this is why right here.
Yeah. Okay. You just called me a dead fish. Dead fish.
Dead.
You know what? I'm leaving. No, actually, I'm not leaving, but I got to turn off the fan behind me because you probably get noise and I can barely hear you. So,
oh, good Lord. Already got to carry the show. Already got to carry the show less than 5 minutes in. I'm literally trying to give him his time. This is what I deal with, folks. This is the type of professional I deal with on a weekly basis. Anyways, if you're watching the show out there, please feel free to comment and let us know how we're doing because we're off to such a hot start. So go ahead.
It is. It's like 94 degrees outside. So here in Houston, to all our world listeners and all our good people in India that are listening to us. Are you ready for the joke?
Yeah, we've been ready.
Wow. Did you know I just built an ATM that only gives out coins? I don't know why people haven't thought of that before. It just makes sense.
Wow.
It just makes sense.
Well, you are not getting Jimmy Kimmel's new vacant job now. I know that.
Oh, yeah. Comedy has not been on late night in a long time.
Yeah, well, let the people find out that story about the stuff. I just want to know. I want to let people know we are up to date, not just on sports, but on life in the world. So, well, folks, we're starting off. Give you the rundown right here. We got the Cowboys. We got the Texans. We got the NFL. We got college football. Gig 'em, baby. All right. That'll give you a little clue what we're going to talk about heavy in that subject. Then we got the Major League Baseball standings update coming down to the wire in our last visit with Boch, unless they make the playoffs, which if you're paying attention to the standings, probably ain't going to happen for the Rangers. And major injury news again for the Houston Astros. Then we got picks with Pops. What are the standings after last week? Did I trump the old man again? Pun intended there. Then we got making most of our moment and whiskey of the week and final tidbits. But let's start with the Dallas Cowboys here. Week 2 going into against the New York Giants. I thought, every Cowboy podcast I watched thought, every analyst thought this was going to be an ass whooping. And ultimately, it was not. Overtime game. We made Russell Wilson look like Seattle Russell Wilson. I didn't know that he had that in him. Malik Neighbors looked like the best wide receiver in the league all of a sudden. Oh, my Lord. Give me your...
How many times did Cowboy fans yell, "Get out zone! Stop playing zone! Good God! Oh my goodness. It was like, guys, and this is my thing. They better figure that shit out this week because he doesn't have the personnel to play zone. Obviously, they don't know what the hell they're doing out there because that shit happened when it absolutely couldn't happen. We weren't getting gouged up the middle in the run. They weren't running on the outside. The quarterback wasn't running. He was literally taking 3 steps back and heaving the damn ball.
I mean, he took 3 steps. He took 5 steps. He took 7 steps. It didn't matter. You want to know why it didn't matter? Because zone only works when you can get to the quarterback. And we ain't getting to the quarterback.
Absolutely.
And you know, I don't want to rehash the Micah trade and all that. That's a dead horse. But these guys, you know, the rookie drafted from Boston College in the 2nd round, Nealon drafted in the 2nd round. These guys got to step up. You know, Houston, I think, is underutilized right now, even though he got slapped in the back of the head by the left tackle. I don't know if you saw that play. That dude just took a swing at him. Thought he was Crawford and Canelo Saturday night. But yeah, they got to figure something out and mix in man. But the problem is, I don't know if they have the personnel to play a ton of man. Stephon Diggs doesn't look right. Deron Bland is obviously hurt. And after that, you don't have a lot of depth in the secondary, which I was concerned with the secondary before the season. And I want to ask you this question. Were you more encouraged after a loss than you are after a win? Because I felt better after the Eagles lost than I do the win against the Giants.
Yeah, I mean, I just hope it was a very good learning experience for them because, like I said, you know, the announcers kept saying it. Well, this is what he does as a defensive coordinator. He's going to run 90% zone. Well, if they know what you're going to run, then they know what to do against it. And the Giants they said, if they're going to run zone, run these fast son of a bitches down the field and just heave that ball, Russell. And that's exactly what they did. And so we're going to have to say the defense going to have to quit clowning around. Just speaking of now, there's a clownee going to be joining them. But, you know, he's what, 50, 60?
He's not that old. I mean, he's Jadeveon Clowney never lived up to the #1 pick hype that he had. You know, he's a good player, but he's, you know, it just, you know, it helps. It doesn't hurt the defensive end situation, but Sam Williams and Nealon and these guys and Izaraku, I don't even know if that's how you say his name, but from the 2nd round draft pick this past year, I mean, they got to step up, and they just do. If they don't step up, we're solid in the middle. Kenny Clark has been a pleasant surprise, honestly, in the middle next to Ziggy. That's a pretty formidable defensive tackle combo. So for the first time in forever, you're solid there, but you're obviously weak on the end. And the back end can't hold up in zone. Like I said, if you can't get to the quarterback and not a mobile quarterback either. You know, Russell Wilson doesn't move like Russell Wilson of 10, 12 years ago. So ultimately,
my thing is, if you're going to play zone, you don't do that against a veteran quarterback who's seen that shit forever. You play that. That's like going out there playing zone against Brady. Not saying that Russell Wilson's Brady. Not saying that. But he is a veteran quarterback who recognizes when they're in zone very quickly because all you do is you send a man in motion. If the man doesn't follow him, you're in zone, which was pretty much it the whole damn time. And all they did when he wasn't heaving it over the top of the secondary, he's throwing it down in the holes in the zone. So what's crazy to me, they fixed the problem of the run up the middle, and now they just created another freaking problem.
Well, that's when you don't. I mean, you don't have a game wrecker on defense anymore. Like you just don't. if this was Madden, you wouldn't have a dude with an X that is just dominant anymore. So you're going to have to scheme some stuff. I think you're going to have to start blitzing more, try to cause a little more havoc. But on the other side, they did win. Obviously, I think this is the first time in the history of the NFL, I got to be honest, I've ever seen a team settle for a 64-yard field goal and wanted the 64-yard field goal. Like, oh my God, Brandon Aubrey, give that man his money right now.
I will. He might have something to do with making the most of your moment today. But the thing is, I agree with what the announcers were saying, is that it changes the way that you play the game, because all they have to keep them from getting around the 50-yard line. Whereas in the past, they had to get to the 35 or somewhere there to try and get a field goal.
The Aubrey advantage, and we might get into this in another segment, so I'm just using it as a reference. It's such an advantage for the Cowboys to have a leg like that. It's almost like the Eagles and the tush push have an advantage over every opponent they play, because it's almost 4-down territory every time they play, or every offensive possession. So it's a great point that you make. It is such a weapon. And on the offensive side, listen, you can call me a homer, you can call me a Cowboy lover, whatever. Dak Prescott is playing the best quarterback play in the NFL. I don't care who you want to throw up there. Dak is doing it all, and he's doing it at a high-ass level. So for all you Dak haters out there, for all you Dak doubters, when he's healthy, when he's got his weapons, and Pickens and CD are by far the two most talented wide receivers in the league. Now, maybe they have a running game or not. I still think it's to be determined. I do like what I see from Williams, but Dak is playing at an extraordinarily high level these first 2 weeks. And he's going to have to keep playing like that if they're going to win games, because I don't know what defense this is. I don't know if it's week 1 shutting down the Eagles for 2.5 quarters, or this is we just let people throw it everywhere. It's very schizophrenic at this point.
Well, here's what I'm going to say is the Eagles versus the Giants play two different offensive type games. The Eagles are going to run it first, and then they're going to kind of throw dink and dunk you down the field. They're not going to go up top. So the Cowboys, actually, their defense matches up pretty well against an offense that is run first. But the problem is now, after this week, everybody sees, let's get our speedy guy down there, and let's get him down the field, because they are in nothing but zone. So the Cowboys better make adjustments this week, the coaching staff to the defense, because you got exposed over the top, not just once, not just twice, not just 3 times, but probably, I think it was 4 times. You got exposed.
Do you know who the Cowboys' 3rd-round pick was this past year?
3rd-round pick?
It was Siobhan Revel Jr., cornerback. Wouldn't you love to have Cam Scatterboo right about now?
Oh,
that was your boy. That was your boy.
What did I say?
I don't know if he's a long-term solution at that position, but right now he's a pretty good option. I like
and you were down on Scatterboo, but I said it's his attitude. His attitude. That dude is going to bust his ass when he gets on the field. He just does. That one run where he almost scored the touchdown, you see him. He stretches out. He works hard. The guy is just, to me, it's about attitude.
And I also think you like Cam Scatterboo because he's the same height as you. All right. I think that's kind of your
probably
secret.
A little taller, actually.
Like, he may be an inch taller, but he ain't. I mean, you shrank a little bit as you got older, but it's one of those things where ultimately that would have been I think a good pick. And then because we haven't seen Blue, he hasn't been active for either of these first 2 games.
What is going on with him?
I don't know, but he's supposed to be the game breaker. He's supposed to have the Tony Pollard speed, the 4.2, 4.3 speed guy. I think right now, obviously the offense is humming. I mean, Miles Sanders blah blah blah. If I could talk, rebounded. I thought he had a decent game. Didn't he have the first touchdown of the game? Miles Sanders.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
the combo of Williams and Sanders has been solid through 2 games. But so Cowboys, we'll see in week 3. Obviously, they got the Bears, who had a good week 1 and then absolutely got demolished last week by the Lions. And how about Dan Campbell sticking it to his former offensive coordinator, going for 2 in the fourth quarter to make it 52 instead of 51. You know what, Dan? Do your thing. I love it. Sportsmanship in football on the NFL level, be damned, I guess. So we got the Bears coming up next week. We'll get into our picks later. I think the interesting matchup is going to be an interesting matchup with that offense. We saw what he did with the Lions against the Cowboys last year. Obviously, different talent pool. So
the big question is Turpin going to be back? Because Turpin has become a huge weapon and we saw it. I guess he's got a neck injury. He's limited this week in practice, so he's questionable for the game. But they really need Turpin in there because he's with this new kickoff rule, which I am liking now. How they fixed it.
You were critical last year.
It was broke last year, but now that they fixed it by saying you get the ball on the 35, now teams want to kick it to people. Now it actually works. I enjoy it now.
You know the statistic to say the 35 to entice is teams score on 50% of the possessions where they start at the 35. So, but there's tons of injury news around the league. We'll get into that when we get to our NFL roundabout. But first, we're going to get into Houston Texans. So more gridiron after this sponsor break. We're going to hear from our sponsor, easyleadership.com. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on Time Sports Talk.
Parents, help your student find their true path with the Berkman Career Assessment. Imagine if you had discovered your true passion right after high school. How much further along would you be in a fulfilling life? Now picture giving that gift to your student. The Berkman Career Assessment is designed to uncover the career paths that align with your student's unique personality, interests, and needs. Don't let them wander through years of uncertainty. Equip them with clarity and confidence to pursue a future where they thrive. Act now. Invest in their purpose with Berkman today at easyleadership.com or email us for a free career checkup.
easyleadership.com. Check it out. And if you would spend just how much you're going to spend on your kid in college, $65,000, $70,000, spend a couple $100 and find out what they really, really want to do, and they won't change majors on you.
Oh, and the average freshman sophomore changes their major like 4 or 5 times too, which is crazy. Sure. So, and don't get a useless degree like philosophy, or some BS like that. I mean, don't get me wrong, philosophy is important. We need to philosophize everything in this world, but not much money into that. Yeah. Put that one in the dictionary.
You're a philosopher.
All right. Well, folks, welcome back. Our last segment was a lot of Cowboys to chew on. Let's get to the next course, which is the Houston Texans. I'm going to ask, was there a coaching mistake in this game? I want to get your opinion. And I had 3 questions before the season about the Houston Texans that still, I think, are questions. And then I might have added another question, and it's about the defense. So the coaching mistake I want to ask you, well, actually, before we get into those, what were your impressions of the game? Obviously, they lose right there at the end. We both are, I believe, I don't know if we both picked that game last week or not, but I know you took the Buccaneers in that game. Or, yeah, we picked Texans every week. So we both took the Buccaneers, actually. So we expected the Bucs to win, but the Texans, man, get beat with less than 10 seconds left on the clock. And, it was a very similar game almost to the Eagles Cowboys, where there's a lot of scoring at the beginning, and then it went dormant. And then, Texans, get a couple field goals or field goal, and then they get touchdown by Chubb. And then they ultimately, the defense lets the final drive with Baker Mayfield win it. So what were your takeaways from the game? And then I want to get into these questions that I have about the team that I want to see if you can answer for me, or if the people in the comments section can answer for me.
Well, my thing is, it's the reason I picked Tampa Bay is Baker Mayfield just has this way. And to me, Mike Evans, he may be a lot older now, but he's still one of the best go-to hands receivers in the league. And Baker knows how to use him. And the thing is, I don't see Mayfield, and he was getting hit. It wasn't like he had a clean jersey. Of course, they're on artificial turf, so kind of had a clean jersey, but he was getting hit. But he doesn't get rattled. And I think if you go back to Mayfield's days in Cleveland, he would get rattled. Whereas he has calmed down and he just stays in complete control, and that team trusts him. And like I said, him with Evans, if he is in trouble, he manages to find Evans. And he doesn't care if he's blanket covered or what. He knows Evans is going to fight and get that ball. So I'm a big fan of the Baker Mayfield of today, because he is just, to me, he just maintains that I'm going to win no matter what. It may look bleak, but we're going to drive all the way down the damn field and find a way to win this.
Okay, so you use that entire time talk about Tampa Bay when I'm trying to talk about Houston here. Holy crap.
Well, that's because there's not a whole lot for me to talk about Houston. Houston, they're disappointing in the fact that they were supposed to, coming in, everybody hyped that, if you're fantasy football, you better pick the Texans as your number one defense. They're going to be the best in the league. No, they're not, because they're not making stops when they need to. And I just think the Texans are lacking that, I don't know how you say this, but they just don't seem to have the urgency as they play. We've seen this how many times from Garrett's Cowboys. We used to say that all the time. They just don't get up for the big games. It seems like they don't have this urgency. And I don't know if it's the coaching. D'Amico Ryans is been figured out, or something's going on there.
Well, let me throw this out to you, because I mentioned this game. I think the defense is a high-level defense. I don't know if it's a Super Bowl level defense, like people were praising it before the year, like you were saying. But here's the question during the game: is the Texans get a turnover at the start of the fourth? They get to the goal line, and they can't get it in the first 3 plays, and the score is 14-10 at that point. There's still 10 minutes left in the game-ish, 10, 11 minutes. Don't you take the 3 there? Like, I know if you don't get it, you pin the Buccaneers on the 1. Okay, so be it. But you take the 3. Your defense, to that point, through 3+ quarters, has only given up 14 points. In 2 games, they're averaging giving up 17 points a game total. So that's a pretty good defense. So I think he should have taken the points and let the game play out. Obviously, you're not going to have the same situation where they block the punt and things of that nature. But to me, Stroud looked really good early in the game when all the scoring was going on. Then the teams kind of settled in, and then he started looking inaccurate. He looked like the C.J. Stroud from last year. And so one of my big questions going into this year is, what C.J. Stroud are we going to get? Are we getting Pro Bowl rookie, set the world on fire C.J. Stroud, or are we getting the regress C.J. Stroud? That was number one. All right. And I think through 2 games, we've gotten more of last year versus rookie C.J. Stroud. The second question is the offensive line, and they've been deplorable. I got to be honest. They haven't been great. And the third was the running game. And then until Chubb has that 28-yard, and really the running game, a lot of it's dependent on the offensive line, and a lot of C.J. Stroud's performance is dependent on the offensive line as well. So they're all intertwined. But the offense scoring 19 points when your defense gives up 20, you should have won that game. And the last drive, they had Baker Mayfield dead to rights. He dips his shoulder, makes I think it's Tua, misses the tackle there for the sack, and then Baker's on 4th and 10 scrambles for 15 and we know he's beat up. We know he's not 100%. He can just limping everywhere he goes. Still gets 15 yards, and they go down and they end up scoring and winning the game. And so I think if you're the Texans, you got a lot to process here. You have a lot to fix on the defense. But, second game of the year, I don't know if the defense is fully in shape. And they played 80 plays. That's a lot of plays. So the offense not holding on to the ball the time of possession, not good. I mean, the Texans were 2 for 9 on 3rd down. And Tampa Bay was 6 for 14. So, and the Texans only had 12 first downs all game. So I think that's an issue. If the offense doesn't start picking it up a little bit, the Texans, it's going to be a long year for that defense. And because I love Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson Jr. out there on the edges. 2 of my favorite guys. I love Stingley at corner. And I don't like C.J. Gardner-Johnson personally, but he's a hell of a player in the back end. So they have the pieces. The offense has got to pick it up. And all the 3 answers, all 3 questions I had before the season have not been answered by the offense. Or if they have, they've been answered negatively.
Well, and it's, as I always said, you have to get 3 games into the season before you kind of know what you have, because just take the Cowboys. We thought, wow, they played the Super Bowl defending champions really well, so we're going to have a good team. And then they come in against what was supposed to be a dud game, and just they have to play their freaking butts off just to win that game. So with the Texans, it's a lack. To me, it seems like there is a lack of urgency. Whereas you take the Bucs in this game, you could tell, especially on that last drive, they were determined to, no matter what happened, they were going to, just like you said, in the one play, they had Mayfield dead to right, and they could have took the ball back, but he got away. Is because he was playing to win. To me, the Texans just don't look like they are, I will agree with your point, in football shape yet. And so, and this goes back to what we said, a bunch of these people don't play in preseason. It takes them, that's why I say it takes 3 games, because people have to get in football shape, whereas in days gone by, they used to use the preseason to get in football shape. So the thing to me that if the Texans and they've got who have they got? They got the team they're going against. They got the Jags coming up. That's not going to be a walk in the park.
Yeah, I mean, I'll disclose my thoughts about the Jags when we do our picks for that game, but. C.J. Stroud, the reason why I think we're getting more last year versus 2 years, there was 2 in particular throws that I was not impressed with. The one, it was an overthrow. If he would have thrown it on target, would have been intercepted by the defense. I think that was early in the 4th quarter. He throws it out there. I don't think it was Nico Collins. I can't remember the receiver. But he throws it out there on the right side of the field, and if he would have thrown the ball correctly, it would have been intercepted. But he actually throws it high, and it goes incomplete. And then he has one on Levante David, hits him right in the hands and in the chest as he just panics on a blitz and throws it. And that would have been a pick 6 and ended the game. So that's why I think and then the whole kick return thing, that should have been a block in the back, I thought, on Terron Smith, number 11. I thought he clearly pushed the guy in the middle of the back to they threw the flag, and then they just decided, there was no push in the back. I mean, I thought that was clearly there. So a lot of that comeback by the Texans I thought was somewhat fortuitous or lucky. So we'll see where they go from here. So good old Houston Texans. They always love to leave you in limbo, I guess you could say. But all right. We're gonna go and take it's a little early for that. I guess we'll just roll into the NFL roundabout here. Let's go into we got the world around. Holy crap, I can't even talk anymore. I haven't even had a lot to drink.
You want to start with the Thursday game last week, Commanders against Green Bay?
Yeah, the game that you incorrectly, actually, we both picked the Packers, but Packers look good, man. They look like a team that's going to be reckoned with in the NFC, and they're 2-0 right now, and man, they look like a complete team on all levels. I have to admit it.
Well, and more importantly, on the other side of the ball is Daniels is hurt, and now there's questions of whether he's going to be back. And so that's going to leave them down to Mariota. Yeah, Mariota is their backup. So it was not only a loss for the Commanders, but they may have paid a higher price. Mariota's been okay as a backup. But I just think, I agree with you. The Packers, as much as I hate to say it, they definitely look like the team to beat in the NFC. I think they're a lot more explosive and a lot better on defense than the Eagles are. So I'm going to say the Packers definitely are the team to beat. They don't have a tough schedule. Well, they got the Browns this week. Tough one there, right? The other, what was, the Browns and Ravens, not a big surprise there. The Bengals and Jaguars. Now, even though the Bengals won this game, they paid a price also. He's down again, folks. Unfortunately, and I think the announcers compared him to, is he going to be running the same journey as Andrew Luck did? Because Andrew Luck lit it up when he came in the league, but he couldn't get out of the injury bug problem. And that just seems, Joe Burrow just seems to be in that same area of he just can't stay healthy. And unfortunately for the Bengals, they're sitting at 2-0, but now he's got to have surgery. So that's a big question for them again. It's what's going to happen with Burrow? Is he going to get past this after he comes back, or is this going to continue to happen and he ends up going down the same, like I said, same journey as Andrew Luck?
Yeah, a lot of quarterback injuries. Brock Purdy hurt. JJ McCarthy hurt. Joe Burrow hurt. Jaden Daniels hurt. So a lot of star power, and a lot of these teams losing what they thought was going to be ultimately a really, really good season. So I just think that's that's something to kind of look at, to be honest. If you're these teams and how you can keep some of these guys healthy, and sometimes it's just freak accident. Like I thought Joe Burrow, his turf toe Everyone made fun of Deion Sanders back in the day for having turf toe and didn't think it was a real injury. And, well, now it's not even a question. Joe Burrow's surgery out 3 months, be back in January, see if they're even in contention. And then, there's rumors Purdy could be back this weekend. I haven't seen an updated status on Jaden Daniels. I know it's a sprained right knee. Injury news we didn't talk about the Cowboys. Cooper Beebe's out for an extended period of time, starting center.
Yeah.
Tyler Guyton is questionable this week as well. Deron Bland is questionable, and Trayvon Diggs is questionable. So there's quite a bit of in there. By the way, the third round pick, Siobhan Revel Jr. for the Dallas Cowboys, he tore his ACL, so that's why he isn't on the team right now. So,
well, I guess as we go around about, how about the Lions just destroying the Bears, and Johnson as a coach did not look good. His team did not look good. And I think a lot of people thought Johnson coming into this game would beat Campbell because he doesn't have him on the sideline anymore. But holy crap, 52?
52. Dropping 52. And like I said, sportsmanship should be damned. There's obviously beef between those two, Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell. I don't know if the Lions play the Jets, but I want to see if Dan Campbell does the same thing to the Jets with Aaron Glenn, see if there's beef there too, or have they grilled it up and eat it. I want to say this. Once again, can you please give me credit on Daniel Jones? Because I called it before the season, and he tore up your Denver Broncos. Give me some love, please.
Yeah, if you want to call 29-28 tearing them up, but yeah, okay. He's. I don't know. Maybe it's because the jerseys, the receivers are easy to see because they're not dark blue. I don't know, but he seems to
have that problem.
But yeah, I mean, you can't argue with the fact that he is. He seems to be in the right place, whereas the Giants was just, all I remember is the poor guy getting sacked. In one game he got sacked by us 6-7 times, So, and then he handed it off to Barkley when they had Barkley, and Barkley go fumble the ball. So it was not a good life for him there. So it was a hard knock life for Jones, and now I think he has found the right situation, So yeah, I mean, I can't argue with the fact that he seems to be a different quarterback in that Colts uniform.
Well, the reason why I say that he tore him up, he was 23 for 34 for 316 yards and a touchdown. And Jonathan Taylor, he's the one who really tore him up. He rushed for 165. So the Colts, playing pretty well. Bo Nix had 3 touchdowns, threw for 206. J.K. Dobbins and averaged 5 yards a carry. He had 76 yards, so not a ton there. But, ultimately, the Broncos are a good team for the Colts to win that. I think the Texans got some issues. I thought they were going to run away with this division ultimately. The Colts may have something to say about this division. So I think that's going to be a real interesting storyline to see what comes down the line with the Indianapolis Colts. And how about your Chargers making the Raiders look inept? You are a Geno Smith fan. You think the Raiders are going to make the playoffs. You think the Raiders are going to win the West. You think the Raiders are God's gift to football this year. What do you have to say now?
Hold up. Hold the effing up. I said last week that I may have to switch because I thought the Chargers and the Raiders would be the ones leading the West with, lo and behold, except for the Raiders being tied with the Broncos, guess who is leading the West? The Chargers. And guess who's at the bottom, where I said they would be second to the bottom, is the Chiefs. The Chiefs look boring. The Chiefs just don't look like, I mean, you got Kelsey fumbling the ball into other people's hands. It's just, and yeah, so you got to give me credit for that because I said,
I'll say this: you heard me pick the Chiefs just because they're the Chiefs. Because until someone knocks them off, it's still the Kansas City Chiefs. But in the back of my mind, and I'm going to say this only in 2 weeks into the season, because I don't want to say this 9 weeks into the season. You're going to call me, oh, you didn't think that. I agree with you. I think the Chargers are probably going to win the West. They have looked the best through 2 weeks. I think Broncos still have some question marks, even though I think they're a solid team. I think the Raiders are going to be worse than you think they're going to be. And, oh, my goodness, did you see the lack of pass protection Ashton Jeanty had? He was just backing up, didn't want to touch no one. And then they started chasing Geno, and he's just like, go get my quarterback. I was disappointed at Ashton Jeanty, man. Generational talent. I don't know about that at the running back position, seeing that stuff. He's got to do a little bit of soul searching there. And I'm an Ashton Jeanty fan. I wanted the Cowboys to take him. But if he's going to pass protect like that, he ain't going to last too long in the league, to be honest.
And what I'm going to say is the Raiders are one of those teams, once again, that we don't know what we got yet because they're not in football shape. The reason Jeanty is doing what he's doing, he ain't in football shape yet.
Well, that doesn't mean you don't pass block the blitzer coming right in front of you and you just backpedal like you're a safety. Give me a break.
He's making a business decision.
It was not a Cam Newton business decision. I know that. Don't give me that bullshit. But I'll tell you one team that's a complete mess is the Dolphins. The Dolphins are a complete mess. Mike McDaniel might get fired this week. And you mentioned the Jags this week, Jags and Texans. I think the Jags are a mess too. All right. You got the coach telling him, throw it on his chest. And you got him, Trevor Lawrence, just waving him off when he's saying that. I think the Jags are a mess. I think Trevor Lawrence, it's time to admit he was a bust in Jacksonville at a minimum because they still lost to the Bengals with a backup quarterback. So I think the Texans actually rebound and win this week. I'm giving away one of my picks, but yeah. And other than the rest of the league last week, I mean, the Cardinals look solid, but it's against the Panthers. That's why I picked the Panthers. But
by the way, didn't I say Aaron Rodgers was old and you weren't getting the Aaron Rodgers of past tense? He got his ass whooped.
Yeah,
Seattle Seahawks.
Seahawks team that might win the AFC West.
Yeah. So the
AFC sleeping on the Seahawks. That's your boy Darnold.
The NFC West.
That's your boy Darnold.
I know.
You better get a Seahawks hat because your Vikings ain't doing shish kebabs. Put that Viking hat away for the rest of the year. All right, folks. Well, let's wrap up. That's roundabout. We always seem to get a little lost in our NFL roundabout. But let's take another quick time out here to hear from easyleadership.com. When we get back here in a few minutes or a few seconds, we're going to talk a little college football.
Attention leaders planning your 2025 leadership retreat. Are you about to throw $30,000 to $40,000 out the door on flashy speakers and trendy activities that lose impact in 2 months? Don't waste your budget on short-lived inspiration. Partner with Easy Leadership and harness the disc work of leaders to gain real data insights into your company's real-world issues. We'll uncover your team's strengths and tackle critical challenges in vision, alignment, and execution, creating a strategic action plan that drives lasting, measurable results. Act now. Contact Easy Leadership at easyleadership.com to invest in leadership that transforms your organization for the long haul.
All right. easyleadership.com. Check it out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, college football is in full swing. We had some pretty good games this past weekend. And if you can't tell by the old man's background that we on this show are Texas A&M fans, because we are both Texas A&M alumni. I can say that now. What a game.
We don't call ourselves alumni. Let me help you out there, rookie. It's called former student. We don't call ourselves alumni.
Listen, everyone else in the country says alumni. So
I know, that's why we're different. Giggle, baby.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm just a fan until I get a ring. That $2,200 ring. No. The only ring I got is my covenant with my wife before God. So, all right. Anyways, stretching that a little bit.
I see that.
Not really, but so Notre Dame, Texas A&M game of the weekend. Marcel Reed, holy crap! I know you were watching it live. What were your thoughts throughout the game? Go ahead, educate the people on Texas A&M Notre Dame for last weekend.
I was so on edge in this game because I knew what was at stake, and I think A&M knew what was at stake. First off, Notre Dame messed us up last year, and I don't think we ever really recovered from that. But this, to me, was a statement to say, guess what, Texas? You're not the only one around these parts who are going to make some noise. And our quarterback, my goodness, Reed was he was on point the whole entire game. Just like I was talking about Baker Mayfield, Reed had that same killer instinct. He didn't care what the score was. He was going to march it down the field and do what he had to do. And the rest of the team believed in him. And, and I'm not going to take it away. Having Moss back is a huge thing for this offense, because that man can push it through there. And so I was on the edge of my seat this entire game. And the good thing is A&M they continued to fight. And this was an entertaining game. And luckily for us, we say it was a great game because we ended up winning. But for me, it was a statement.
Yeah, anytime a big time game happens at night, the road team is at a disadvantage, right? Doesn't matter what stadium it is. Going up to South Bend. Holy crap, South Bend. The Aggies were up against it. Hostile crowd. By the way, prayers to that young man that had to cart off the field. Pretty scary scene. But get back to the play on the field. Reed had 360 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was only 17 for 37, so he wasn't super accurate. But he had a lot of yards, and 207 of them went to Carver on 7 receptions. 207 yards on 7 receptions.
Yeah, he had over 100 and something in the first half.
Yeah, I mean that's called big play city. And yeah, you mentioned it, Le'Veon Moss. He's a game difference, I just can't talk tonight.
Game changer.
I was going to say game breaker or something of that nature, but to have him back is major deal. Holy crap! maybe some more whiskey will help.
I don't know if that's helping, obviously.
Oh man. But you're going up against probably the two best tandem running backs in college football in Notre Dame, led by Love, who had 94 yards and 1 touchdown himself. And ultimately, you know, there with 13 seconds left, you know, Reed gets the touchdown and, you know, finds the guy open. I believe is a rollout to, was it to the left? Rollout to the left, I think.
Left.
And
Yes.
came up big, man. And that's a statement win for the Elko regime. I think it's their biggest win to date under his tutelage as the head coach. And we'll see if they can keep it going. You know, last week I mentioned if they get through Notre Dame, this could propel them forward to have a really big year and probably make the college football playoff. They got another big test next week in Auburn. Then you got some, you know, Mississippi State, Florida, and Arkansas. And then you got the big one against LSU. Now, if you lose against LSU because you're at Death Valley, always one of the toughest places to play in the country, it's not going to look too terrible on your resume because they're probably going to be a top 5, maybe a top 2 team. They're number 3 right now. Then you got Missouri. South Carolina's dropped out top 25 after losing last weekend. Then you got a gimme against Samford, which is basically just a warm-up game for Texas at the end of the year. And we'll see where Texas ends up throughout the rest of the year. You know, they got to take on Oklahoma in that Cotton Bowl, which they're looking pretty good at 3-0. Looks like Oklahoma is back on being back Oklahoma. So, yeah, college football, Ohio State still at the top, followed by Penn State, LSU, Miami, Georgia, Oregon. I think generally the rankings right now reflect what should be. You could make the argument maybe Oregon should be a little higher since they dropped 2 spots. But, you know, Miami had a good win last weekend and so did Georgia. So, but how about Illinois being ranked number 9? That's pretty surprising.
That's where I said there's always these teams because Iowa State is another one. They're sitting at 12 and 4-0. There's always these teams that nobody talks about. And to me, one of them, I said it last week, Iowa State is making some noise. They're not scoring a lot of points compared to everybody else, but they are up there. But yeah, Illinois is one that I don't think anybody was talking about at the beginning of the year. We'll see if they can maintain it.
Well, if you remember, they were ranked in the preseason top 25, like around 23, 24, somewhere around there. And I was kind of joking, like all these I-teams or I-state teams are going to fall out. So far, I've been wrong on that. You know, Illinois is there, Iowa State's there. I thought there was another one in the original, or Indiana. Indiana's not on the AP poll. Oh, yeah, they are. They're at 19. So never mind. So they're all still in it. Well, Vanderbilt is 20 and Utah is 16. And, you know, Vanderbilt's historically been horrific in football. And how about Notre Dame still in the top 25, even though they're 0-2, but they're 2 losses against top 10 teams. So I guess you can justify that.
Yeah, that I actually have a hard time with justifying that because they haven't won a game yet. And I get it. They're expected to do well at the beginning of the year, but they haven't proven anything yet. I mean, they lost to Miami and Texas A&M. I guess you can make the argument, but there's probably some other teams
and that those 2 losses, it's a total of 4 points in their losses. So, like, I get why you wouldn't drop them all the way out of the 25. So I get it. But yeah, but overall, I think the rankings are generally pretty good there. So, all right.
Well, we got some games coming up this weekend in college football. Obviously, you already touched on the Texas A&M has got Auburn. So that's going to be, once again, here we go. Or no, it's not. It's not this week, is it?
Does A&M have a bye?
No, we got a bye. I'm sorry. Auburn is playing Oklahoma. That's why I wanted to bring that up. That's going to be a good game because that's a statement game for either team. If Auburn loses that, they may very well drop out of the top 25. And Oklahoma, if they win that, I think they're going to jump ahead of Texas, even if Texas wins. But because Texas is playing Sam Houston, they're not playing a tough team. So yeah, that was one of the games, and then Texas Tech is playing the Utes 16 versus 17. There's not a whole lot more of the ranked teams. I mean, you got Miami playing Florida, but Florida is obviously not in the top 25. So, and LSU's got a gimme game against us. Southeastern Louisiana State, I guess. So,
alrighty.
I was waiting for you to jump in there.
Sorry, I was typing. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna switch gears here. Get to our Major League Baseball chat. We got the overview of the standings, what's going on with the Astros and the Rangers, and our last, unless the Rangers make the playoffs, our last meeting with Boch of the year. It was very controversial last time he was on. I'll just say that. So here's a word from our sponsors. On Time Sports Talk. We'll be right back.
Oh, we're going to sponsor again?
Well, yeah, we just
Have you heard of the DISC communication tool? Yes, most people in business have. But there is a new tool out there that is tailored for leadership teams. It is called the DISC Work of Leaders and focuses on 3 main areas: vision, alignment, and execution. This amazing assessment is not just a game changer. It is a business strategy necessity if you want to create sustainability. Let's be honest, a lot of executives spend many hours in HR dealing with people issues, and that happens because of reactive leadership. If you are sitting in HR trying to figure out what happened after the fact, then you are not able to concentrate on running your department or business, and it steals your time. Email us or call. It's free to talk about it and learn how to become proactive in your leadership. Big or small, we have a plan to build on your strengths and an action plan for your challenges. Join Eddie Schedule, our CEO and founder, for a quick video on what a report does for you. Head over to our website and scroll down to see this amazing video of the DISC Work of Leaders tool. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to hearing from you.
All right.
EasyLeadership.com. I can't concentrate doing that commercial.
What are you trying to say?
Trying to say she is not dressed.
We have fun in Easy Leadership.
Business.
Professional.
All right. We're probably going to get an email. Man, listen, if you're watching, man, throw a comment in there. We ain't had one yet. We got viewers.
We got a lot of people watching too.
I know. They're very quiet today. I don't know what's last week. We couldn't keep up with the comments. This week, can't sniff one. Come on, folks. Throw something out there. We dare you. All right. Major League Baseball standings. I'm going to go over the standings first. And then we'll talk about the Astros and their series with the Texas Rangers that just ended and the latest injury news. So in the American League East, you still got the Blue Jays at top or on top. Probably not going to change. They got a 5-game lead on the Yankees. The Yankees have the top wild card spot, I do believe. Yes, they do. And follow that by the Red Sox. American League Central, you got the Tigers. They got a 5.5 game lead in that. I don't think anyone else from that division is going to make the playoffs other than the Tigers. Tigers have been one of the best teams all year, surprisingly. And then in the American League West, you got the Mariners on top by half a game over the Astros. So still a tight race there. Right now, it looks like the team that comes in second between the Mariners and Astros will be in the playoffs with that second. There it is again. If we were watching the ticket and they were doing the e-break, they would just be able to nominate me 10, 15 times already. I don't know what's going on tonight. I've been outside all day working on my truck, replacing a wheel assembly. So I was going to talk about that later, but maybe it's just all the sun has drained my ability to think or get my words out my mouth, apparently. So anyways, you got the Astros in the second wild card spot, followed by the Boston Red Sox at 82 and 69. Let's talk about the National League real quick. You got the National League East. The Phillies ran away with that many, many moons ago. 12 and a half games up on the Mets. There it is.
Milwaukee leading the Central.
I was looking for the wild card. If the Mets were in the wild card race, and they are in third spot in the wild card race. You're correct. Milwaukee Brewers, 4.5 games up on the Cubs. The Cubs have the number one wild card spot. And then the National League West, where your adopted Padres play, have fallen 2 games behind the Dodgers. They took the lead in the division. They've fallen 2 games, but they do have the second wild card seat. They're 4 games up on the Mets, so it's pretty safe that they're going to be in the playoffs. I don't know if they can catch the Dodgers with about 8 or 9 games left, being behind 2. So that is your update on the Major League Baseball standings. The Rangers and Astros played this past weekend. Good old Silver Boot Series. And I believe the Astros took 2 out of 3 this past weekend, unfortunately for my Rangers. But, and just to confirm that, I was my computer.
Just having some issues.
It's. I've been a pretty shitty podcast host tonight. I'm gonna be honest. Like I'm sitting here trying to do this and. The internet's slowing down, and I ain't got nothing to fill the time and show that I was prepared when I wasn't. Yes, they took 2 out of 3. They lost the first game 3-4, won the second game 11-0, and won yesterday 2-4. So,
it's going to be difficult for Texas because they are right now. They're in a dead heat tie with the Cleveland Guardians, stupid name. And then the Red Sox are holding on to that last spot. So, what?
I read the wrong damn series, too. That was the previous Texas-Houston series. God bless, man. Oh. Should have got
you. I think we got Bruce Boch coming in.
We do have Bruce Boch. Matter of fact, I think he's knocking at the door. I'll go get him here in a second. But the series that I was talking about, they won the first 2 games 6-3, 6-5 in the Silver Boot series, and right now they're tied in the third inning 2-2. So Bruce Bochy just left the stadium to come on the podcast.
I was fixing to say his team for you. Good timing.
Hey, we just have that much pool, all right? So, all right, let me go get B. Boch.
Well, before Boch gets here, it's going to be difficult for the Rangers to move up into that wild card spot. Not so much that Houston is that far ahead of them, but you got the other teams, like I said, the Red Sox and the Guardians that are right around that area. Currently, the Red Sox hold that spot, and the Rangers are 3.5 back of them right now. Over in the National League, like he was talking about, the Mets right now are holding on that last spot. The Diamondbacks are 2 behind them. You've got Cincinnati 2.5. So that's going to come down to some games here between the Mets, the Diamondbacks, and the Reds. So without further ado, we'll jump back into the American League because we have the Boch, who has just stepped out to do an interview with us, which is really, once again, it goes to you must be wearing your raccoon shoes or something that helped you get over here. How are you doing there, Coach?
Well, what people don't know is I have a body double. That we've been so awful hitting the baseball this year. There's some nights I just got to take off and get the hell away from the team because that's how disappointed I've been in. Me and my wife Kim come up here to Lake Conroe area, do a little fishing, a little nude swimming, and then I
TMI.
And then we catch some bass with our bare hands, as we always do. Kill our dinner with our bare hands. So, and she always says when I jump in the lake all butt naked, she's like, "Get that bass with that cute ass."
Get that. I can't even concentrate. Get that bass with that fine ass.
Cute. She says cute ass.
I'm done. I can't even hang. But first off, is TMI, too much information. And now that stupid saying's gonna be stuck in my head. So
she says she doesn't say
can we get
fine.
away from the bare ass and bring it back to baseball?
She says cute ass, not fine ass. I just wanted to clear that up to make sure you know. But yeah, we can get back to baseball. I don't know. It sounds like because y'all aren't probably going to have me on in the off season. Maybe when spring training rolls around, if I'm even managing baseball anymore. But yeah, it's been a rough year, and I always say it's a simple game. You hit the ball, you throw the ball, and you catch the ball, and we just haven't hit the ball very much, or we've wasted a damn good year of pitching, and it's just disappointing. Chris Young, he needs to make some changes, give us some bats. He needs to do some of that GM shit. You remember when Goose was like, "Hey, Maverick, do some of that pilot shit." That's what I'm telling Chris Young. Do some of that GM shit.
All right. Yep, he needs to go get some bass with that ass. But yeah, it's not, unfortunately, Coach. It's not looking great for you guys to get a wild card spot. You're running out of games here, 3.5 back from that last spot from Boston. So I guess that's kind of the big question of are you going to be back next year, or is it still a decision to be made?
It's a decision to be made. I mean, these days I normally, I'm the one who gave Aaron Rodgers the idea of a darkness retreat. So I go on a little darkness retreat and, spend 34.5 days and 32 seconds in the wilderness, slathered in nothing but mud and a loincloth. And I play hide and seek with my wife, Kim. So, and this is how we've stayed married since 1978. So when you ask what a good marriage components of that, that's what I'm talking about. And
mud and a loincloth. That's
the
secret to marriage.
It's very moisturizing for the skin. It's like taking a permanent mud bath.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. But I don't like the road you're going down here. So let's just.
Do you not exfoliate, sir?
Do what?
Do you not exfoliate your skin, sir?
I'm sure it's exfoliating now with my bald head. That it's
It looks like
exfoliating, it's radiating, it's
well,
chromosome making, it's all that sort of stuff.
well,
It
it's
has its
damn
own
near.
solar system.
It's pretty shiny up there. It's like, but well, I should probably get off the lake and get to the game. I know it's a pretty close game, and you can't trust that first base coach for nothing. So,
All right. Well, good luck to you. And, I'm, uh, I now want a t-shirt, get that bass with that ass. So, all right.
well,
There you
just
go.
remember my last bit of life advice if this is my last time on the show.
Yes. Enjoyed having you. Learned a lot. Heard a lot I didn't want to hear.
Once again, you cut me off, you son of a
Have
bitch.
forever changed because of it. Okay, well, there you go. That was pretty crazy. I think we talked maybe 30 seconds about actual baseball. But once again, yeah, the Rangers are a disappointment. I think coming into the season, they were looked at as being one of the contenders. And unfortunately for them, it goes back to actually what he was saying is they just haven't hit the ball well this year. So, maybe the secret is get out there in the wilderness and cover yourself in mud and a loincloth so you can exfoliate.
Oh man. Well, I just said goodbye to Boch. He's a little sad. A little sad. But
I'm a little my stomach hurts. That's all I can say. I'm not hungry anymore at all.
Well, I remember there was a time you think Jay Kidd made you hungry for a PBJ sandwich after talking about buttholes. So,
yeah, that's a PBJ sandwich is a lot different than bass with an ass.
Well, don't forget, I think he corrected you a few times. Cute ass.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You can just.
All right. So, yes, the Rangers look pretty dead in the water at the moment. And then the Astros, they finally get Yordan Alvarez back a couple weeks ago, and then now he rolls his ankle going into home plate. So big loss there for the Astros again. And did you see when Valdez crossed up his own catcher? Did you remember seeing that? Okay, well then, if you don't remember it, then there's no point in chatting about it. But all right. Well, once again, we thank our guest, Boch. Can't thank him enough for coming on throughout the season. And now it is time for. Do we have one more commercial or no?
No,
that was it.
We do not.
That was it. All right. Well, let's move on to one of our favorite segments that we do, Picks with Pops. In case y'all ain't figured out by the name, and yes, that is our name schedule. That really is. I promise. We didn't make that up.
Right now you're ahead of schedule. Now you're behind schedule.
Good Lord. Worst joke of all time. Let's bring in the standings from last week. Last week picks pretty good. Pretty good overall. I went 6-1 again. I am killing it. But you did go 5-2. So we pick 7 games every week. We picked the NFC East and the Texans game, and then 2 wild card of our choosing. They may or may not be the same. But we both got Green Bay. We both got the Cowboys. Both got the Eagles. We were both wrong on the Lions because the Lions looked pretty bad week 1, and what a response by Detroit. You got the Chargers. I got the Cardinals and the Colts over your Broncos. You misfired on the Vikings, and we both got the Buccaneers. So the current standings on the season, I am 12-2 after 14 games. The old man is 9-5. So we're both in the money currently, and so pretty
pretty good there. So, all right, let's get into it. This week's picks.
Hang on, I threw my paper.
Oh, well, I'm sure I can say them and you'll pick them regardless.
Yeah, well, hang on.
This is, oh, good Lord. Boch made him throw his papers. All right. Well, when your co-host just randomly leaves and you're trying to do a literal,
I got it.
literal picks with him, he just leaves you, abandons you with no child support or nothing.
Oh, bull crap! You cost me a lot of child support.
But why you got to be so personal? It was a joke. Like, I know you. Just stop. It was easy there.
It cost me a lot of child support.
Yeah.
And
well,
what did I get for my money?
Hockey.
Guys who can't even keep his stamina going for the show.
At least I didn't play hockey.
Wow. No, that's just Dallas. I apologize. Your brother just dogging on you.
Oh man. Well, he would say at least I didn't play goalie. That's what he would say. All right, folks. Let's get in picks and pops. Texans, Jaguars. Who you thinking in this one?
Well, even though there's some things going on between the coach, I still think the Jaguars have the ability to win this game, and that's because right now they're obviously at home in this game, and I think the Texans there's something. Stroud doesn't look right, and there just seems to be something going on with the team that is not good. So I'm taking the Jaguars.
Well, you take the Jaguars and you keep enjoying second place because I think Texans rebound this week and the Jaguars. I mean, it's the Jaguars. I mean, when have they don't win jack shit. I mean,
they got a better record than the Texans.
I mean, they do, but they've played. What is their record? I don't even know. Jags
1-1.
1-1.
It's only been 2 weeks. They're 1-1.
What's the Texans' record? Are they 0-2?
0-2.
Well, their 0-2 still looks better than Jaguars 1-1 because it's the Jaguars. All right. So Angie, I got your back this week. It is the Texans this week. Next, Raiders and the Commanders. Possible no Jaden Daniels for the Commanders. Who you got in this divisional NFC matchup? Well, it's not a divisional matchup, but NFC East game.
It's not even the same division.
It's not even the same conference.
I'm going with the Raiders. The Raiders are going to win this game because I don't think Daniels is going to be ready to play. And I just think the Raiders got to bounce back. I like their coach. Obviously, I like Mr. Quinn in Washington. But I think the Raiders win. It's going to be a close game, but I think the Raiders win it.
Yeah, I have to agree only because I think Jaden Daniels is out, and that is my caveat. If he's playing, the Commanders are my pick, but I'm going Raiders right now. Cowboys, Bears. Where are you going? You going hometown or are you going with the Bears?
I'm going hometown because the Bears are not looking good. They look a little discombobulated. They are 0-2. I'm really looking for the Cowboys to make some adjustments on defense. And yeah, I'm going with the Cowboys. I think Dak looks really good. And when Dak is on, I think they can win this game against the Bears.
Yeah, I'm going with them boys. All right. Not the Bears. I'm going with them boys as well. I think it's going to be – I just can't get behind any quarterback who paints his nails, okay?
So sorry, Caleb Williams. I will never pick you because that simple fact, because that's not what grown men do. Sorry. I just, unless your
I
nails
just
are
can't
dark.
picture a grown man sitting there and going,
Yeah. And he does them different colors. I'm sorry. I just don't get it. Unless your nails are dark from grease, working on a truck or a piece of machinery, your
or picking
nails
your
should be
nose.
cut. Or you have a daughter and she painted your toenails because you had to play house. That's the only exception to have your toenails painted. But it's them boys. I'll go first on this one. Chiefs, Giants. I'm going with the Chiefs. Chiefs get their first win of the year. It's still the Giants. It's not the Cowboys defense Russell Wilson's playing against. I'm going with the Chiefs. Who you got?
Yeah, I think the Chiefs do pull this out. I've never seen them lose three in a well. Technically, Mahomes has lost three in a row, but during the same season now, so they're 0-2. Giants 0-2. I think, yeah, I'm sticking with the Chiefs myself on this one. I just don't think the Giants have what it takes. Even though they showed some promise against the Cowboys, but kind of ended it the way that we're used to seeing Wilson play.
Yeah. Now we got LA Rams going to Philly, I do believe. So Philly at home against the Los Angeles Rams. I'll go first. I hate to pick them again. I wish it was cry Eagles cry, but this week again, it is going to be fly Eagles fly. Unfortunately, so your brother-in-law, my uncle-in-law, will be happy again this week that the Eagles beat the Rams. In my opinion.
Well, I'm going to say not so fast because the Rams are 2-0 and the Eagles are 2-0. And I think the Rams match up pretty good against this team. So I'm saying Rams go into Philadelphia and pull the upset of the week.
Okay.
And win this game.
All right. All right, we're on to our wild card games, and we actually did pick two different ones this week. We don't talk about these ahead of time. We pick them randomly on our own. I have the Lions, Ravens, Detroit coming off 52-point bludgeoning of the Bears, going to Baltimore, and Dad's favorite quarterback. He thinks he should be everything, but he's not the MVP, and he can't beat the Bills in the playoffs, Lamar Jackson. But that being said, they're not playing the Bills in the playoffs. They're playing the Lions. And give me Baltimore in that game. What's your first wild card game over there?
Well, first off, yeah, I like the quarterback for Baltimore, but he's not my favorite quarterback.
Well,
outside of Dak. It would be Baker Mayfield.
Feels like back mountain.
And we know who yours is. He plays for the Buffalo Bills. But I'm going to the AFC West matchup of the week. The Broncos are headed into LA to take on the Chargers. And as I said it at the beginning of the year, the Chargers or the Raiders were going to lead this division. And my biggest reason for saying that with the Chargers is because of that head coach, Harbaugh. He makes a difference. And Claire looks like a MVP quarterback playing with this Charger team. So the Chargers win easily against the Broncos.
Easily. You were hot on that. You love Bo Nix. You're a Bo Nix guy, and now
I do like Bo Nix.
All right,
but I think he's also nursing an injury, isn't he?
I don't know if Bo Nix is, but all right. I'll get to my last wild card game while you get your misinformed injury information. I got Cardinals 49ers. I'm going Cardinals over the 49ers because Brock Purdy, I think, is still hurt. I heard there's a chance he's going to play this weekend. But the Cardinals are 2-0. Who would have thunk that? Cardinals 2-0 to start the season. I picked the Cardinals last week. I believe in the Cardinals this week because 49ers aren't going to have their quarterback. So give me the Birds out in Arizona. I know your last game is Vikings-Bengals, quarterback mortuary. And looks like, are you going with the Vikings again?
Yes, I am. You can't see the horns with my back.
Yeah.
It's like the Aggies. We saw those horns up. But yes, I'm going Vikings because the Bengals do not have their quarterback out until the playoffs, possibly, because he got his toe hurt.
Hey, that turf toe ain't no joke. Surgery, 3 months. Holy crap. All right. Let's remove this. We're going to add this one back up there. This was supposed to be in our NFL roundabout segment. I forgot about it. It's completely my fault. But we're kind of getting to our last segment here before making the most of your moment by the old man. But what team out of these teams surprised you the most that are 2-0 on the season? And shout out to NFL Fox for the graphic.
Why you got the Bills? The Bills are not a surprise. Green Bay's not a surprise.
No, it's just every team that is 2-0 who is the most surprising. That's every team in the league.
I thought we just were picking from these, but the biggest surprising at 2-0 for me is probably the Cardinals. The Cardinals were not picked to do much of anything. So, yeah, to me, mine is the Cardinals. Cardinals are 2-0, and if they win against the 49ers, obviously they'll be 3-0, and who would have thunk it that they would be leading the NFC West?
Yeah, that's a good pick. You know it's not the Bills. I think I think you can make the case for the Bengals after Burrow going out early. You know it's not the Green Bay Packers. You know it's not the Chargers, the Rams, the Eagles, the 49ers, or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. My most surprising is the Daniel Jones-led Indianapolis Colts. There was people in Indianapolis like, this is the guy y'all are signing, that scrub from New York. Listen, everyone that leaves New York Giants, everyone who leaves the football Giants, who gets out of New Jersey, okay, because they really play in New Jersey and not in New York, okay? They have a career year, okay? Look at Saquon Barkley last year, all right? Sam Darnold, he used to play for the Jets. He got out of town. What did he do? He had a career-changing year with Minnesota last year. When people leave New York, they have career years. Daniel Jones, Colts, extremely surprising, but I called it. Thank you very much. Let's move on to making the most of your moment. What is happening in this? Because this segment is all you, old man. Go ahead.
All right. Got to share my screen. And this is courtesy of Fox, NFL, and YouTube. It's obviously our boy Aubrey. Here we are, and we already talked about it, how it's changing the game from having this weapon from 64. This would have been the talk of the town, but this has become pretty much automatic. And not only that, I want you to think about the pressure. If he doesn't make this, there's time runs out. Cowboys lose. He goes from hero to zero if he misses this. But calm, cool, and collective, he sets it up.
He gets no bash with that ass.
Boom! 64. Dude, did you see how far that went?
That would have been good from 70. He could have
made that from 70. And there's the old, yeah, we don't like him. He's not happy. There we go. That is it. So remove from the screen. There we go.
Making the most of your moment. Brandon Aubrey. That's a pretty good one. And then obviously he kicks the one in overtime to win it, I do believe, as well. So that was just like a 45-yarder or something close like that.
Yeah, we say that like it's 40. That's a chip shot.
That's like barely over an extra point. You know, it is what it is. So,
did you hear his story? How they were talking? How he was just setting.
Yes,
He was working a regular job.
Yeah, I heard about that years ago when they first signed him. So, nothing new on there. Just people on starting to take notice because he is the leg from the replacements now. You should just call him the leg. That's the best nickname I think you'd call him. All right. Let's get into our whiskey of the week. We're getting to our final segment.
Which I think you already got into the way you've been talking.
No, I haven't had enough, honestly. But Old Faithful, my favorite, Jim Beam Red Stag. Not a heavy whiskey by any means, only 32.5% alcohol, but it tastes like it is black cherry bourbon. It is my favorite. You mix it with a little Dr. Pepper. I won't say on air what we called it when I was in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, but let me just say it is delicious. Dr. Pepper, Red Stag. Haven't met a person on this planet that hasn't liked it, because it's basically like drinking cherry Dr. Pepper with alcohol in it. So it is pretty damn good. And I mean, the old man can confirm he's had a few of them with me. So it is delicious. So, all right. That's our whiskey of the week. Any final tidbits on your mind before I go to my final tidbit?
Yeah, I gotta find my picture here.
You gotta share something else on the screen.
Yes, I've got it. Here it comes. You know I gotta bring her in here.
Why?
There's a reason. She made the Mizzou Hall of Fame. Missouri Hall of Fame this week. So shout out to my girl, Sophie.
Like that's hard to
Missouri
do.
Hall of Fame. So there she is. Get well, get back on the court, and welcome to the Hall of Fame in Missouri. And I don't know where you had that. Yeah, there it is.
Missouri Hall of Fame. You can't name another person in the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame.
No, I can't.
Exactly.
Can you? Can you name someone in the Texas Hall of Fame?
I'm sorry?
Name more than 3 players in the Texas Hall of
Fame. I can. Earl Campbell, Vince Young, and Emmitt Smith.
Emmitt Smith is in the Texas Hall of Fame. Are you sure?
Are we talking
Texas? You're just throwing that out there.
We're talking Texas sports. All right. Here, I'll switch it up. Ricky Williams, Colt McCoy, Jimmy Smith.
Colt McCoy.
Yeah.
I wish he had been a Cowboys quarterback and been really good, because that would have been so awesome. Colt McCoy.
Yeah, and you would have. Thank God we weren't doing a podcast if that would have happened, because that would have got old real quick. My final tidbit is I spent all day changing the wheel assembly on my front right wheel. Never done it before, but I say that to go. I want to thank you and other men in my life for teaching me how to do man shit, because I had no experience in it, but because of my knowledge of how things work. I remember when I was 17, or no, I was 18. I was a senior. I got the Plymouth Breeze car for my 18th birthday after I got my license. We won't say what happened to that car a month later, but before that car went bye-bye was I got a stereo that Christmas, I do believe, from someone in the family. And you being an aviation electrician knows how to do all that. And do you think he went out there and helped me put that stereo in? Hell nah, my dad did not. He said, you go figure it out. And if you get stuck for at least 3 hours, then I'll come out and help you. So needless to say, I figured it out. It's just cool to get out there, work with your hands, and be able to, do man shit. And I know there's women out there that do a lot of that as well. So I'm not putting down the sexes by any means, but I worked on that all day, got it put together. Always pay attention how you take things apart, folks. Just you don't want to not put it back.
The wires. Mark the wires.
Well, luckily, I wasn't dealing with any electrical, so just take out the wheel assembly, the brake pads, the brake pad holders, the rotor, and then the wheel assembly with the wheel bearing in it. So, but hopefully that fixed it, and hopefully I saved myself about $3,000 to $5,000 at the good old mechanic shop. So, I posted a video about this on TikTok, so it was kind of funny on there. So, but all right, that's all I got.
Well, I think that is the end of the night. Got a lot of good football coming up this week, and had a lot of viewers on. Nobody commented except for somebody throwing up their cheap Twitch crap. But
yeah, that's why I took it off the screen. Well, maybe it's Wednesday night. Maybe people are in church. I know a lot of people put us on in the background and listen to us while they're watching their kids or playing with their kids going home from work or getting home from work and stuff like that. So, but once again, we thank all y'all for sticking around. We love doing this, and if I would have hit that $1 billion lottery, we'd be doing this every day in the afternoon. And that's just all we would do, or all I would do.
Someone in Texas did win that.
I know.
They need to sponsor us.
And please, if you were a listener, please. That would have been cool. I would have, I don't know if you would do it because obviously I would have retired you and Angie. So I had a feeling you might be on the RV somewhere, not being able to do the podcast. So I would be a one-man show.
Well, yeah, I had told Angie she'll know if I won because I'm landing a helicopter on the third green or second green out there on Walden, so to pick her up to go somewhere. But and she's like, no, you shouldn't tell anybody. If I'm a millionaire, yeah, I'm going to give a lot to charity. That's something I would do. But I'm going to have a little bit of fun on that first day.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's one of those things. I think everyone thinks about this and kind of fantasizes about it. That's why you play the lottery. I mean, I remember sitting around as a kid at my grandparents' house in Cisco, and I remember the whole family like, "What would you do? What would you do?" And ultimately, I think after your normal things, retiring certain family members and giving to certain charities and I said I want 4 properties. I already know pretty much where I want them. I want a car, a nice truck. Honestly, I'd probably keep my beater truck to be the farm truck on the land that I would build the barnuminium at. But yeah, I'd want somewhere on an island, somewhere in the mountains, and then somewhere on the lake within driving distance of my primary residence. So that'd be pretty cool. But obviously we did not win it. And so we got to keep we're both still looking for jobs. So
I won $4. So
well, good for you. I could have won it, but I didn't play. So
well, there you go.
Yeah, that was my mistake. So it is what it is.
All right. Well, sponsors, people sponsor us.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Put your commercial on.
Put your commercials on. You could sponsor the Whiskey of the Week. You could sponsor the Making the Most of Your Moment. You could sponsor the NFL Roundabout. You could sponsor, I'll wear your shirts and your hats on, I got this hat custom made. All right. It's got the On Time Sports Talk logo on it. So you just never know. It's all options out there, and it'll be a hell of a lot cheaper than advertising with the big boys. So I'm just throwing it out there. So anyways, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. And the old man and I couldn't talk all night, so I'm about done talking regardless. And just remember, whenever you get lonely and you want to fall asleep, just imagine Boch naked in a basketball with that cute ass. Get that bass with that cute ass.
No.
Oh.
No.